You've heard those letters everywhere, right? ESG. It's on the news, it's in investor reports, it's plastered all over company websites. But what is it, really? Is it just the latest corporate buzzword, or is there an actual concrete plan behind the acronym? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the real blueprint companies use to measure their impact. And that's really the core question we're digging into. Is ESG just a shiny label that companies slap on to look good, or is there a rigorous, structured framework for accountability hiding in plain sight? Let's find out. So, here's our roadmap. We're going to break down the 3 core pillars of ESG: the planet, the people, and the principles. And then, we'll see how that blueprint gets turned into a verifiable report card. First up, Pillar 1.
Okay, let's start with the E in ESG, the environment. This is all about getting a clear, data-driven picture of a company's actual physical footprint on our planet. We're not talking about vague promises here. This is all about measurement.
And this pillar covers a ton of ground. Everything from emissions and energy use to water, waste, and even a company's impact on biodiversity. You can think of each of these as a really detailed chapter in the company's environmental audit.
Now, to really get a handle on emissions, auditors don't just use a single number. They break it down into 3 scopes. Scope 1, that's the direct emissions from sources a company owns. Scope 2 is indirect, from the energy it buys. And then there's the big one, Scope 3, which covers every other emission in the entire value chain. It's incredibly comprehensive.
All right, next up is the S for social. Because let's be real, ESG isn't just about the environment. It's fundamentally about people. This pillar is all about measuring a company's relationships with its employees, with the communities it operates in, and with society as a whole.
So in practice, this means auditing stuff happening inside the company, like health, safety, and diversity, but also looking at the external impact, things like respect for human rights, community engagement, and whether they have a responsible supply chain.
And to see just how specific these audits can get, take a look at a key metric, the living wage assessment. This isn't about just meeting the legal minimum wage. No, this is a formal analysis to figure out if employees are paid enough to actually afford a decent standard of living. It's a really powerful measure of a company's social commitment.
Finally, we get to the G for governance. Look, you can have amazing environmental and social goals, but without a strong ethical foundation, the whole thing can just fall apart. This pillar is about the rules, the practices, and the processes that guide and control a company. It's really the operational backbone of ESG.
Under governance, auditors are basically looking at the company's internal rulebook. How's the board of directors structured? Is there a strong code of ethics? How does the company manage its ESG-related risks? And, super important in our digital world, how does it handle cybersecurity and protect our data?
Good governance has to be actionable. For example, a solid whistleblowing system isn't just a suggestion box, it's a formal 3-step process. A secure way to report issues, a clear process for investigating them, and defined steps to actually fix the problem for good. Okay, so we've seen the blueprint, the E, the S, and the G. But a plan is just a piece of paper without proof, right? This is where the audit process kicks in and transforms all those internal goals into an external, credible report card. So how do companies prove they're actually doing what they say they are?
Well, it all comes down to this key difference: doing versus proving. Internally, a company might have ESG policies and run employee trainings. But for the outside world, that has to translate into published sustainability reports and independent third-party audits. Internal data tracking becomes external ESG ratings. Board-level oversight gets backed up by formal assurance statements. It's all about showing your work.
So what does that proof actually look like? Well, auditors basically open up the company's evidence locker, and it has to be full. They're demanding sustainability reports, external assurance statements, stakeholder records, board minutes, even training logs. This is where the claims have to meet reality. So when you look at the sheer depth of this blueprint, from calculating Scope 3 emissions to verifying a living wage and auditing a whistleblowing system, it becomes crystal clear. ESG is not just some marketing label. It is a demanding, data-driven, and measurable framework for what corporate accountability really looks like today. So, the framework for accountability is there. It's detailed, it's comprehensive, and it's ready to use. The blueprint is on the table. The only question left is, who is truly willing to build with it?